Well, we've improved. What do you think about this thing? Is it better for you? That's the question. Hopefully it is. Do let me know your thoughts on it as well, because I can adjust it. It should get better within a few, well, not within a few weeks, but within a few match reactions, it should hopefully improve, and I can find the right level for it. But Bradford City have beaten Luton Town at home 2-1. What a result, what a statement it is to the rest of League One. That the Bantams, the Chickens, you're going to get pecked by them at some point in the season, mainly at home. When you're on your travels to Valley Parade, you will be pecked, and you have to be prepared to be pecked by those ferocious little chickens. Now, what a performance it was, as well as the result. The result's what matters. That's what's always key. But the great thing with this team is what we keep seeing is pace, power, athleticism, and a mentality that is never say die. And what I keep seeing from Alexander teams is in years gone by, Bradford City teams, when they go 2-0 up, we always crumble. And I could have said this at any point in the last year, but I haven't for some reason. But this mentality of this team, it never drops. We go 2-0 up, and the fan base as well, the feel-good factor of what we've got. I can move my hands now, which is great. But the feel-good factor that we've now got around Valley Parade is something that I haven't seen for a great deal in my Bradford City supporting of the years. Now, a lot of people a bit older than me will remember the McCall and the Parkinson seasons of 12 to 17 years, and I can vividly remember it, and that this is a feel-good factor that we've got, and we play a very similar style. And what we do is we do the basics really well. We've got pace and power in the team, we've got athleticism, we don't stop running, we win our second balls, we play football the right way. That, what we do is simplify the game to a level that you should play it at. We don't pass it out from the back. Something as simple as our keeper, as soon as he gets the ball, he bowls it straight out to the wing back, or he'll do a big long kick out to the wing back in the other half, or to the striker, and we'll win our second balls. And that's what we do, and we do it so well. And a lot of teams are going to come to Valley Parade and find that hard to live with, the intensity of the way we play, but the intensity of the crowd and how we get behind the players, and how hard we make it for the opposition. And that is a big thing as well that we can't let slip. And that's what we're not doing with our momentum. It's huge. We've come into the season with a lot of momentum. We've kicked on with it. And the only issue we've had with it on a match reaction with the Northampton game, that's the only thing that can stop you from feeling a bit of optimism and getting ahead of yourself. But you've got to. As a fan, you've got to. And I'm not going to come on here and say, look, we're going to win the league or we're going to get promoted this season, but far from it. But what I'm going to say is that's a statement to the rest of League One that we have just beaten the team who are favourites to be League One. They were favourites to win the Championship and they got relegated. I'm not saying they're going to do that again, but they won the opening 2 games. So they have come in to this season with a fresh impetus, and we've gone and beat them. And we made them look second best. We didn't make them look poor, but what we did were we won every battle of that pitch. And what you've got to be careful of is the fact that Luton do have a lot of ability in that squad, and we showed that with our goal. That all it takes is one perfect cross to meet the perfect head of one of their strikers, and it's going to go into a bottom left-hand corner, and then they're straight back into a game. But like I'm on about with the momentum, the mentality, and the feel-good factor, that roaring of the crowd that we keep doing, it makes such a difference, because the players straight away from kick-off won the front foot and we created another chance, and it makes Luton just go, oh, we're in for something here, we've got to keep fighting. Whereas they then get the momentum. We don't allow teams to have a string of momentum. So that is something that we are a part of, and that's what we feel with this football club at the minute. We are a part of it, as well as the 11 players and the 17 and the 7 on the bench that get left out, and then the reserves. It's just a feel-good factor, a community, and that's what that one man in Graham Alexander's give to us. And we can believe that we can make an impact in this league at the top end. I think we can. I made my predictions that is 14th. I'd snap your hand off for 20th. I'll say that now. I would. And I'd snap your hand off for a point against Luton. And, even at half-time I was saying, I'll still take a point, even after how well we're playing, because you've got to have a level head and be realistic. And I think we all are. But we've got to get excited about this team, this manager, this football club at the minute, the trajectory we're on, that we can make an impact at this league, because we've gone and beat one of the favourites comfortably. It were pretty comfortable. The last 10 minutes weren't, but even then, with limited chances, and we looked assured. With the experience we've got in this team, you know, when we sign so many experienced players, it gets asked, why? You know, we didn't have enough pace in the team, didn't enough young energy in the team. Well, we finally tuned that, and a lot of the experienced players have got a lot of pace to them as well. It's been finely tuned, the way we've recruited with the experience. But when you're in the dying minutes like that, you win the little niggler free kicks, you go down when you're under pressure, you punt out of play, or you try and play where it's safe to do so. And that's exactly what we do. We find our way through the tough moments in the game before half time. We know how to manage those moments for those final 5 minutes, just getting at the break at 1-0 or 2-0, whatever it was. And we're fantastic at it. We did it against Blackburn as well. We're so good at managing the minutes of the tough moments in the game. And Curtis Tilt is the man I'm really on about there, because he came in with a bit of question marks about his age, but he's so quick. You know, he's nowhere near lost his legs. He's one of the quickest players in the team, but he's a brick wall, and he stood still to every challenge that Luton had. The blocks he put in, the one-on-one defending, the nudges in the back. His experience is so key to his team, and he's holding that down, because I thought Joe Wright, without him, it's going to be a tough game. We're going to find it hard. We're going to have to adapt. But Curtis Tilt is the man in that back line who still stood tall and covered for him in many ways, as well as Aidan Baldwin were. Because you've got to praise Baldwin for that performance. Andy played well against Blackburn, deserved to play in place of Joe Wright, who got his concussion injury through his eye. And Aidan Baldwin, obviously his last game in a league game was that big error that he made at half time, that stupid red card. But he's come straight back into a game, into a team. His distribution of the ball is still one of the best in this league, never mind League 2. But he was so composed in tackling. He read the game so well, and you've got to praise him for that, because it's tough for a player to come in from that game. And yes, we had the promotion, but it stormed people's mind, and they were still doubting him. And he's come in and performed really well, and he's just been fantastic again. As Aidan Baldwin not left a foot in that team, and Toure and Nerfield, the wing backs, give us great width and pace on the break as well. But Toure, more importantly, defensively, was absolutely solid. He read it so well. That left side was owned down and locked down by Ibu Toure, and that's what you've got to think of as well. We're a new team coming into this league. Yes, we want fast, explosive, quick players who can spot a ball, the crossing's pinpoint accurate, and they just take players on for days, like Adremola was last season. But this season, we need to be good defensively, and that's what Ibu Toure sort of, he justifies us as a team in many ways, because he's solid, he's not too flashy, but he gets his job done, he wins his duels, and he's just good defensively, and that's what we are. But I keep saying that, but we do keep winning 2-1. We always seem to concede, but we do enough to get the 2 goals, and you've got to praise the resilience in the forward line for the pressing. We never stop pressing. Alexander keeps saying we defend from the front, and that's what we do every game. And Humphreys running into a channel, Sarsfitt's chasing every ball down and doubling up, and then you get the pressure on them and you keep them in the corner. That builds momentum. Poynton just being able to hold the ball up by playing neat little passes and keeping it tidy, and his goal again, getting 2-2 now at home. And he is a fantastic player. We knew that, but he's taking it to another level again, and he deserves that contract. He's fighting for it every game. And Alexander came out after the Blackburn game, I think it was, talking about Humphreys and his position in the team, and he said that left position in that front line is not available. If you come to Bradford City, you must know that you're not going to be playing that left position. He said that's Poynton's, but he's still fighting for it, because every time he plays for Bradford City, he's got something to prove, and that's to the fans more than anyone. So, he was fantastic again today, and a really nice goal. His movement from the ball, we work it well. I think it was Nerfel on the right side, pinpoint cross, but Poynton's coming in on the angle, he's coming wide, and he makes his one to a front post, and he gets there ahead of the defender. Determination, that's what he is, and he's just a phenomenal player for someone who came through the academy. Never forget his story, never. So yeah, just every game at the minute, 7-8 out of 10s across the whole pitch for Bradford City, and that's all we need to do. But like I say, I think managing the expectations is something as fan base we don't need to do. Some rightly will want to be level-headed and want to get carried away, but I think if you want to get carried away, get carried away. If you want to say we might get playoffs, say we might get playoffs. If you want to say we might go up this season, say it, because Any other team in this league will think that, but it just creates the atmosphere, it creates the excitement of the football and of the football team, and the way we're playing at the minute is something everyone can get behind, because it's the way football should be played. Like I say, we do everything right, and we're so good out of possession as well, more than in possession. But when we're in possession, we get the ball, we think forward, and we put teams under pressure. And that's why we're so good at home. Away, we need to be more composed, and we need to find our way into games. And we did against Northampton, but we need to be much better. And Tuesday's going to be a great test. I think Tuesday's the game, when the fixtures came out, that's the big one. You know, Luton at home, always that, but you fancy us to beat anyone at home. If we got anyone, I'd fancy us to beat them. But you always still have led and you go, yeah, I'll take a point. And if we lose, it's not the end of the world, because it's a good team. But away, always question marks with us away coming into this season. If we can get some at Stockport, and that's when we can really judge how far this team can go again. And of course, it could just be a continuation of last season, the momentum. But the way we're playing and the feel-good factor, I can't look past that, so that we are going to be a challenger. And even if we're challenging, this league's so competitive, and I must say to Luton as well, I did think, well, we made them second best. I didn't think they were poor. They had some really good moments. They broke us down in midfield. I thought the way we press, it's quite, it's a one-off. I don't see many teams pressing like us, where the centre-back's in line with a wing-back and the wing-back's in line with a 10, and we're very narrow. We allow them to play it wide, but we sort of double up, everyone as a man, and that means we can be quite open, and you can find pockets if you don't get the press right, like we do when we're high press. And they did find those gaps a few times, and they got him behind. They had a few really good chances. They built momentum, particularly those last 20-30 minutes, like you expect when you're 2-0 down. They kept the ball quite well, but I feel like sometimes they went too far. You know, they tried to keep hold of the ball too often. They were too composed on it at times. I felt like they needed a sense of urgency. And I see that with a lot of teams, and I think, what are you doing when you're 2-0 down? But it just made it more comfortable for us, which is always a great thing. And they are going to be up there. No matter what you think of Luton, they've won their first two. They're going to be up there, and we've gone and beat them, which again is a big statement to the rest of the league. When we are in the top six, and it'd be nice if we can stay there. But it's just about taking every game at a time. And we've got 2 winnable games after Stockport. Let's get through Stockport and let's try and get that point and keep those points rolling. But there's so many positives, so much to talk about. And I think the best thing is just to be excited. That's my message to you. Get excited. Enjoy it whilst it lasts. Because we as a fan base know more than anyone how tough of a time we've had it. We've been in League 2 for 6 years. We've had to go to these rubbish grounds with these rubbish fans. And, you know, Luton were great today. You know, they made a bit of noise. They sold out one of the sections of the allocation. They didn't sell out the TL Dallas by far, but many teams have struggled to sell out that side of the stand, and they would have been one of the best fans in. They would have been the best fan base in League 2, and they'd be average in this league. So that's a step up, and a step up what we saw. We made one mistake. The goal was unstoppable from Walker's perspective, but I feel like we could have stopped the cross. I feel like the player was unmarked. I've only seen it once, but I feel like he could have done a better job at being put off or being marked and being denied the opportunity to have so much time to head it down into the bottom left corner. But they have the ability for the cross to come in, it's accurate, and for the player to accurately head it into a corner. And that's where you've got to be careful of in League 1, but also with a team like Luton. So, yeah, it was a great day, another great performance, and we move on into Tuesday. But you can't help but get excited from this team.